We're Sean and Megan Jantz.
We believe that a great life consists of small breakthroughs compounded together. The goal each week is to provide tips and strategies to help you achieve your own breakthroughs in your marriage, in your business, and with your money.
Welcome to the Breakthrough Project. Hey, welcome back, Breakthrough Crew. Megan Jantz
and
here.
Sean Jantz.
We're here today. We are going to be talking about money personalities. Okay, so, I've been in the financial industry 7 years now, and I've sat down with all different kinds of people, all different kinds of couples. And I would say, one of the biggest issues that I see is actually couples just not being on the same page as far as like their communication goes. And everybody has a different money personality. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say that like we are 100% experts at this. We're still students, but we're sharing with you what we've learned so far, how we have helped some of our clients, and hopefully you can have some takeaways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is in a way, it's kind of like maybe some of you guys listening to this have heard of the 7 love languages. And so, just different people communicate, they love differently. And this is kind of in the same way, just about money. And so we're going to share with you what those are. The first one is called the controller. Okay, so the controllers, they like to be in control. They like to be right. They tend to be structured in all their activities. They plan everything to a T. So they're not one into being like spontaneous and that kind of thing. And they usually have, egos. And sometimes this can cause them to be spenders just to kind of keep up their part, like they want to kind of show this big life and they want to show this image of having like their whole life together. And, they can be good savers sometimes, when it's like structured, and when they'll stick to their budget when it's coming to like keeping track of their goals and stuff. So,
and I wouldn't, so this isn't my dominant personality, but I would say that I am a mini controller, right? So you've had to deal with
that a lot of things, yeah.
And not just about money, but I know that is just my personality. You can't help it, right? And I think that's going to be a big takeaway here is that if that's somebody's personality, like you can't just literally fix them, right?
Yeah, you can't change it. You just have to learn how to communicate
evolve,
better,
right? Yeah. And so I am the controller of the relationship. So let's say you kind of mentioned how they can be spenders to look good and hold up an image. And so obviously this, a lot of this stems from, especially if you've taken our financial breakthrough course, we're really trying to help couples like get out of debt, have a budget, start saving, start investing, start a side business, right? And so when couples start doing that, it can become very, very difficult, massive feuds. This couple or this spouse thinks we should do this, the spouse thinks we should do it this way, right? Because there's no one right way to get out of debt. There's multiple ways.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I have been the controller. I mean, so what would you say are some tips if you're married to a controller right now? What
Yeah, so the controllers, they just really want to know what's going on at all times. Like oftentimes controllers, like a lot of their careers are like managers in their jobs and their careers. And so, managers, they kind of, like I said, want to know what's going on at all times. They don't want things to be like kind of swept under their nose without them knowing what's going on. So if you're dealing with a controller, the best thing is just to communicate. Like
nothing
always,
unexpected.
Yeah.
If you do something unexpected that wasn't in the plan, like you're gonna make the controller freak out, and you guys are gonna have fights, right? Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. Just communicate about every little thing, even overly communicate.
Like, don't you dare hide this credit card or that one. Like, if you're married to a controller, it's probably one of the hardest to be married to.
And I think you'll be surprised too. Like sometimes, Sean, like, he wants to know, so I'll tell him, and then some things he's like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So, I feel like, okay, well, at least I told you about it, so I think just communicate as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, hide nothing. Be open about anything you're going to purchase or anything you're going to do. You just got to let the controller in.
And keep them in the loop. That's what they feel good about. They just want to, like, it's all part of their plan. They just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, well, very good. Okay, so the next personality. Okay, so this one's kind of a funny one. So this is who we call the promoter. Okay, so the promoters, they love to be liked, all right? They're usually popular. They're the life of the party. Having fun is very, very important to these kind of people. They love being the center of attention, and they usually are. You guys probably are thinking of some people right now. They're usually great at sales, they're in entertainment, they're leaders, they're great public speakers. And they can tend to spend money like crazy for the sake of a good time, so they don't like structure, especially when it comes to like having a good time. Man, as soon as they get the opportunity, the budget goes right out the window, again, to just kind of have fun, in the moment. And but they can be motivated when they see the purpose to save.
Yeah, and I would say this is the hardest spouse type to be married to, when you guys are really focused on getting out of debt, right? Sticking to a budget. You're married to a promoter. This can be really, really hard for them, right? But so what, you kind of touched on it at the end. But so if you're married to a promoter, you guys are sitting down, you guys have these goals, you got these dreams, you want to get out of debt so bad, but your spouse is going to do something on the weekend, but how can you keep that promoter in check?
Okay, so a promoter, again, like in the weekend, like they're having a good time, right? You can't like remind them in the moment of like not of your budget or like spending money or whatever, because they don't care and they're just gonna do it regardless. And so with these kind of people, you have to, like, I think again it comes down to just communication. So if they're going to be in a position of like temptation, to like have this great party, go on this vacation, buy the best like materialistic thing, whatever it is, you have to just communicate ahead of time. You can't try to stop them in the moment necessarily, and you've got to just kind of remind them of like the big picture, like. So for example, I know somebody that's married to a promoter, and they had just paid off one of their razors, and she was like, and then the next weekend, he was hanging out with his friends, and she's like, I just know he's gonna come back with like a new razor. She thought like they just paid it off, so then of course he's gonna want the biggest, the best again. So I think the main thing is to just communicate and like celebrate that little victory, or talk about how sweet the real victory is gonna be.
Well, I think what's really important to help with a promoter is explaining to them that, hey, if you hold back now and sacrifice now, we can have 10x better parties.
Right.
We can have 10x better house. We can have a 10x better this, 10x better this. We get out of debt, and you can throw a party not just for your 7 best friends, but you can invite and pay for everybody to go to Vegas, things like that. Exactly. You got to sell bigger and bigger for the promoter. Like, we get it, babe, once we're out of debt, then we can do this better. We can have a cabin even bigger than this, right? Right now we have this tiny little deal. Babe, when we're out of debt, we can have this cabin. Yeah. And so you got to get that promoter out there touching dreams and having them go, man, okay, I got to stay disciplined, and I can have even better stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so the next one is who we call the supporter, okay? So the supporter, they're very caring and loving people. They love to help people, and family is of the most importance to them. They're oftentimes in their career, they're nurses, they're firemen, they're teachers, they work for nonprofits, that kind of thing, and they can be good savers when it comes to financial stability for their family. That's probably the most important thing to them is their family, and they love that stability, taking care of people. They can be spenders when they're avoiding financial structure and focusing on taking care of their family. So, if a family member's in need, they need something, then sure, they'll throw the budget out the window and they'll do whatever they can to help these people. But, they're generally, they definitely, like I said, just kind of want to help their family members. And so with this person, if your partner is a supporter,
and so you are a supporter, right?
Like
you can say that. You are a 100% supporter. So I've been married to a supporter now we've been with a supporter now for 10 years. So I have some experience on this. And what I always try and tell Megan is, like, she does always want to help everybody and sometimes throw the budget out the window to help everybody. But what I like to say is that there's that great analogy that when you're in an airplane and the oxygen mask comes down, you don't put your oxygen mask on everybody else first, right? You put your oxygen mask on who?
Yourself.
Yourself. Why?
So that way you can take care of everybody.
That way you have enough air, you have enough oxygen to help your kids and everybody else on the plane. It's the same thing in life.
Yeah.
You got to get debt free. You got to get money in the bank. You got to grow your business so then you can help everybody. If you're not debt free, struggling with your own self, and you're trying to help, you're helping people at a half-assed way. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. Yeah. And I think it, a couple times, like I remember sitting down when we'd have like our monthly meetings and stuff, and we'd go through like our bank statement, and all this spending, and you'd ask me, well, what was this? What was this? What was this? And I remember, one of the things that you said, you were just like, Meg, okay, was that really necessary? Obviously. And then you also said, how that really hurts my feelings when I'm in here busting it. I work from home. You don't see me going out. You don't see me spending all this stuff. You don't see me doing all this stuff. So it hurts that you're out there doing this when I'm busting it. And, but we talk about having this big goal and dream, and you're not sticking to the plan. So that's one thing that, I remember when you would just like, because of course, as a supporter, you don't want to hurt anybody. You want everybody to feel good. And so, to make you sad or hurt you, like that was something that now I'm like more conscious of,
And that's great advice, though, even for a promoter, right? You say like, hey, I'm working so hard, babe, and you're spending all this money on the weekends with your friends. It's really tough, right?
Yeah.
And so really just kind of, hit home. Like you got to be so focused on your unified goals and dreams. And I think as a supporter, I'm not saying don't help people, but possibly help maybe with your time, right? Like don't throw the budget out the window. Like and I think that this is a great being a supporter because it really, really fuels your why. Like you want to get debt free and grow a big business as fast as humanly possible because you want to help everybody, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think if you just are reminded of the big picture, and just, you could just get back in such a bigger way.
Yeah, and I think
debt-free.
like the saying "time is money" is never more true now that I'm older, right? Like time is money. If you're a supporter, okay, and you are really struggling trying to get out of debt because you're helping everybody, time is money. What are you doing? You got to get your butt to work so that you can help everybody. You got to get that oxygen mask on. Right?
Yep, I agree. Okay, the last one. The fourth personality is what we call the analyst. Okay, so this person, they fear being wrong or making a wrong decision. They research everything before they act, and this can be very frustrating for especially somebody like the promoter or, somebody who makes quick decisions. They like data and they crave structure. A lot of these people, they're accountants, they're engineers, they're pilots, they're analysts. So like this guy over here, and they can be good savers for sure. And they love budgets. They love, like I said, like data and charts and numbers and stuff like that. But, sometimes they can be overly conservative, and they don't necessarily make good decisions because they're fear of like making the wrong one. And so this can kind of be negative, but.
Yeah, and it says here they can suffer from paralysis by analysis, right? Or analysis paralysis. And so, yes, I am a full-blown analyst, right? So, I mean, what are some things that you have done that to kind of, I guess, deal with being married to an analyst? Because I know it's very difficult to be married to one.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing, again, for these people, they're not really into like spontaneity. And so, Sean, like, I can't just come home and, like, have this idea of, like, oh, hey, we should get this, or hey, we need this, or whatever. Like, nope, I got to come up.
It needs to be planned months in advance.
For sure. And sometimes I even plant the seed that we're going to have, like, a conversation about it in later on. Like, I mean, you can't just.
There needs to be a plan for the plan to have the actual conversation.
Seriously. And so with Sean, I know it's like, let's say I want to do something, I don't know, this summer. It's like, okay, for us, then I'll like kind of start planting a seed. Okay, well, sometime we'll talk about it. Okay, after this, we'll talk about it. And so you've got to like just give these people time and, lay out all the facts and the figures first. And then so you kind of have to like make your case before you, just start with the meat and potatoes necessarily.
And I'm biased, but I definitely think this is one of the best ones to be married to.
Of course he's
and I say that just because
I don't know that I would say that.
Well, I think you'd rather be married to an analyst, somebody who's going to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Like an analyst is never going to go blow all of our money and you're going to come home and be like, babe, what happened? You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
Like an analyst, we're going to keep you, it might be a slow track,
Yeah.
but we are going to stay on the track.
It's so
right?
true. Like we were talking about it the other day and I said, Sean, remember when we had this idea that we were going to do this to like make money and stuff like that? And then we were like thinking of 3 crazy ideas he had. And he's like, yeah, well, I guess you can be glad that I have analysis paralysis and it takes me a while to...
I have talked myself out of really stupid ideas because I wait,
You really
because I
have.
always give myself plenty of ample time to think about all of the scenarios. What
Yeah.
if this happened? What if this happens? Okay, this is not a good idea.
and which, by the way, the whole time I thought was really dumb. But you can't come out and say that. You have to just kind of go with it because chances are it's not going to happen anyways. So I just kind of go with it, and then he comes to the realization himself.
Yeah, and I think it's important, and it says here, and it's true, analysts are very similar to a controller. They want to be involved in day to day.
For sure.
You can't do something. You also cannot do something without them knowing about it, right? Because I look at it like we think really, really hard about all of these dollars that are in our account and where they should all go. We think really hard about it before we actually move it. And so if it gets moved without us, like, what happened to that $10 that was going to go here? Oh, I bought a cheeseburger. It's like, no, that was not supposed to go to the Subway.
Not quite.
You know what I mean? It's not that extreme. But if I had that $10 that was supposed to go to debt.
Yeah, and we may have talked about it, but it's like sometimes you got to let them be the ones to move the money too.
And I hope that, these were the 4 dominant personalities. Like I said, some of you are a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one. So I'm mostly an analyst and a controller.
I'd say I'm the promoter and supporter.
You are the supporter with a little bit of promotion in you. And so it's kind of funny. We've both married the exact opposites. We've sat down with several who are the same, and I think that they do pretty well when they're the same. Normally we have to counsel when they're exact opposite. But I hope this was helpful. I think it's fun. I think it's really fun to learn about yourself, right? We're always learning about other people and reading biographies on other people. When it's like, a realization for me maybe a little over a year ago is like, I don't want to learn more about Elon Musk. I want to learn more about me, right? I want to learn. So I take a lot of personality quizzes, and I enjoy learning about myself because it helps me even grow as a person. And then also I love learning, definitely about your personality, because the more I learn about that, the better we can communicate. And then these will be interesting eventually when our kids are old enough to find out what they'll be. So if you have older kids, find out what they are so you can.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, we would love for you guys to share like what you guys are, what your you guys as a couple are, and kind of how you've worked through some things too, and give us feedback or examples too. So maybe someday, we can share those with couples going through similar situations.
Yeah. So do
too.
hashtag breakthrough on Twitter or Instagram and put whatever you are and your spouse is. We'd love to kind of see the differences. So hopefully had some good takeaways. Hopefully a mini breakthrough. That's our goal. Each episode is to have a mini breakthrough. Sit down, find out which one of you you are on this, and stay disciplined.